Good evening.
Good evening. You look very pretty.
Thank you. All right, we'll start our service with 3 gongs just to get us present in the right here and right now. So with each one, I invite you to take a breath and becoming in the moment. Namaste. The divine within me recognizes and honors the divine within you. We come together as this one power, this one presence tonight to feel and to know God's amazing grace, which is everywhere present. Right here, right now, is everything we could ever want and so much more. It's with the recognition and the awareness of it I open to that as we move through this service together tonight. So sit back and open your being and let God touch you in its beautiful way. So hello everyone, welcome to the Wednesday night service. You know, I think everybody got a flashlight when you came in. Did everybody get a light when you came in? So let's play. Jenny, will you turn off the lights and everybody turn their flashlight on and shine it all over? There you go. The light. That's fun. So there's like a concert, right? I'll do that. So we give you that because we've been involved in what we're calling our annual prosperity program or our pledge program. And you know, on Wednesday night, we put a lot of focus and intention on the light, knowing that where there's light, there can be no darkness. And so that's kind of a gift to you as representing that fact that there's always light. And so you can utilize that. Whenever you need light, you can see, and you can see the truth, and you can dissolve the darkness that's in your world. So that's a gift from us. And before we get started, I wanted to make you aware, and actually we could turn the lights up just a little bit, just one notch, that this is our annual pledge program. We haven't talked much about it on Wednesday night, but for those of you that this is your spiritual home, I just wanted to take a minute and kind of explain our pledge program. For those of you that are visiting or a guest, then we talk about this once a year, and tonight happens to be the night, and so this wouldn't be referenced to you, but for those that this is your spiritual home. So we'll do it quickly. The pledge program is our time once a year where we get the opportunity to express to our spiritual home that intention of what we plan on giving in the upcoming year for 2013, with the sole purpose of allowing us to set up budgets and make a plan that makes sense in reference to this. Our spiritual home here, Seaside, is 100% supported by the congregation, by the individuals that come here. This year happens to be an even more important year because it's time for our mortgage to come due. It actually comes due next year. And so because of property values and all the things that are happening, normally in commercial loans, you get a 5, 7, or 10-year loan. But we found a company called Ziegler. It's been around for 99 years, and a number of our churches and our movement, and it works with primarily nonprofit schools and churches, has a mortgage that becomes available that's a 25-year fixed mortgage, very similar to our home. So we won't have to worry about this again. When we get this mortgage, we'll have it for 25 years. It's at a great interest rate. And so in order for us to get that, we're starting the process right now, or doing our audits and those kinds of things, but we need to show growth. And last year we had 256 families or individuals turn in a pledge card. This year we're wanting to do 275 to show growth. And also we had our goal from a financial standpoint of what's people are intending to pledge, we want to have a goal of 600,000, which will show the growth that's necessary. So we had our pledge on Sunday. We're about halfway there. So those that are Wednesday night people, that you consider this your spiritual home, in your program is the pledge card. So I just invite you to think about it while we're doing our talk tonight in that. I'll give you a chance to fill it out after our offering, and at the end of the service I'll give you a chance to fill it out, and we'll send somebody around to pick up the pledge cards. That's what you got, the pin and all of that. So again, like I said, once a year we just ask so that we can do our planning. So if this is your spiritual home, for me, what becomes really clear for me as we talk about who and what I am, what's important to me. Probably of the highest priority, tonight's talk is about the longing of the soul, is to know love. And love is synonymous with God, is to know God. And the qualities of God, which is love and peace and joy, abundance and wholeness, faith, harmony. That's really what this spiritual journey is about. And it ultimately boils down to peace. And peace leads to gratitude and love and joy. Making a spiritual home, or being a member of a spiritual home, for me is about joy. What I want most importantly in my life is to be happy. And because in that place of happiness, my heart's open and life just works. Feeling good is feeling God. That's my affirmation. That's what I know absolutely to be the truth. But what I also want for everybody on this planet, in this world, is to be happy, is to have joy. The other thing that I really want, that's really important to me, is that when we do go through our difficult times, I want for every human being on this planet to have the tools and the support to make it through those times with grace. And that's what the spiritual journey is about. It literally is about understanding these principles and the qualities of God, understanding how life works so that we can move to peace, or we can move to joy no matter what's happening in our life, where we can have like a deep faith or a deep knowingness that it really is all going to work out. Or we can sit in the unknown when we don't know what's going to happen or what's unfolding, but to know in some way, shape, or form we're supported and guided. And that's why for me, this is my sole contribution to the world. I give to this spiritual teaching. I give physically and of myself and of my profession, and I give of my finances, because there's nothing more important that I want in the world than to have a happy world and a life that's filled with hope and people getting along and love. And so I support that which creates that, and that's what the spiritual teaching is about. So we invite you to go within your heart, think about what your pledge, what you might be considering giving next year. If it changes, if you win the lottery, great, give us more. If your life changes and you can't, it's no big deal. It's just a phone call, just let us know. So let us just know your intentions. So thank you with that, and we'll turn those in and deal with those at the end. But I want to talk tonight about the way of mastery, and the chapter that we're on is the longing of the soul, is to know love. But as I contemplated that idea and thought about that on a deep basis, really the longing of the soul is to know peace. Love brings us peace. Because in love, we open our being, we open every cell of our body. When we're in love, there's an energy that's running. You all know that. You can relate to that right now. When your heart is open and you are feeling love, that vibration that's within you, that is joyful, is just a deep knowing that all is well. That is what we all long for. And that's why we're here on this spiritual journey. That's what we're looking for. We're looking for ways to go back to love. We're looking for ways to find our peace. We're looking for answers so that when I'm feeling chaotic or life throws me a curve or whatever it is, that I know what I can do so that I can get back to my peace, because we all hate not feeling good. We hate frustration. We don't like anxiety. We don't like sadness. We don't like grief. We don't like those feelings within us. And it's human nature for every single one of us to do absolutely every single thing we can to find some way of feeling good when life's not feeling good. And that's what our spiritual path has to offer. But to do that, we need to to be conscious. We need to be awake. We need to be aware of what we're feeling. I was talking to my friend today that I bounce ideas off. I call her my friend in consciousness, where we go deeper in these theories. And I said, doesn't it seem like all you're ever doing is feeling yourself? She goes, that's a little inappropriate. I guess you're right. That's a little inappropriate. But what it means is that what we're doing is we're checking in, better words. We're checking in with ourselves. We're seeing what we're feeling, what's going on with us, and evaluating it. It seems like in the spiritual journey, in this awakening, we're asking ourselves at all times, how am I doing? What am I feeling? What is going on within me? So that we can make the adjustments or be conscious and aware of if we like that, if we choose that, where my attention and focus has been. What I'm realizing is that when our happiness goes, or when stress or anxiety enter our world, it literally is because our focus and our attention is in one particular place too long. I know that because my profession is, and what I do here as the executive director of Seaside is numbers. I work with budgets and cash flows and crunching numbers and that all the time. In fact, right now, as I mentioned, we're getting ready to go through our audit. So it's like balancing and this, that, and the other. And I know sometimes I come home and I've been so intently focused on the creation and all of those kinds of things that I'm completely out of balance. And I need to go home and just not think and be with my husband and watch TV and just kind of like zone out to get my balance back. And one of the things that we teach on the spiritual journey is that we do that by consciously choosing to do our spiritual practice, to move into prayer. I know when I wake up in the morning, I feel best when I've done some exercise and when I've sat down in the silence and pulled out my spiritual readings or the truth and read it and just fed my soul, remind myself of the truth. It brings me back into center. It makes me feel whole. I find my peace. And that's really what our journey is about, that this is an ongoing journey of making sure we're checking in where we're at and feeding ourselves, feeding our soul, remembering the truth, knowing that all is well, reframing those things that are going on in our life, catching ourselves when we're stressed or anxious or we're not feeling good, catching ourselves of what we're thinking about, but from there moving to that place of love. Love brings healing to all things. Probably one of the best people and one of the greatest gifts I've had, which this is our 1-year anniversary for Rick and I, 11/11/11. Last year we were married, so we're celebrating our 1-year anniversary. Thank you. And one of the many great gifts that Rick has taught me that I've actually got to watch and to observe is the power of gratitude. He's an individual that when life throws a curveball or something happens, the very first thing that he'll do, and I just observe him and watch him, is he'll sit down and he'll start looking around and he'll go into spaces of gratitude. You know, looking at the ocean or looking at the plants or looking at the dog or looking at the cat or looking at me or looking at whatever and moving into places of gratitude. And I can literally watch, even though we've maybe had a hit or had some bad news, I can literally watch in this individual, his whole countenance change. I can actually see the opening as it's opening up. I can feel the energy that's shifting, that's changing as it moves through him, and it becomes this, the eyes twinkle and things change, and it becomes this flood of love and of well-being. Gratitude is one of the most powerful places that we can go. It is the energy, it's the path, if you will, that takes us to that place of love. And when we're in that place of love, we're feeling good. And we know there's this sense that comes over us. Nothing on the outside world had to change. Nothing had to change at all in order for us to have it. But as we move into that place of love, then this whole sense of well-being and the worry goes away and the anxiety goes away. Love brings healing with it. And it changes the whole world that is outside of us. As I mentioned, I'm getting ready right now. We're getting ready to do audits for this bond. It's through bonds and stuff, through the Ziegler company that we're doing these mortgages. And, I got to go back to 2009, 2010, 2011. We're going to do 2012 and look at all the systems and all of these kinds of things. And there was a part of me that was like, oh no, that's a lot, and I think audit, I think of IRS, and it's like, that's no fun at all. And and it dawned on me, and I have this reading that sits right in my folder every single time I come up here that says, be in alignment with love. And that love creates a context in which what is spoken differently, with a different purpose and a different intent, and therefore to a much different audience. My only desire is to be present as love. And so when we step into that place of love, we literally transform the outside world and the individuals. And I got this picture today that as I work with these auditors and these individuals, as I choose to be in the space of love and vibrating at love, and that this doesn't have to be a heavy situation. This can be a really light, fun, loving, creative situation. And the same is true for all of us as we go forth in our life and creating. If we can stop and remember that the power of love that exists, that transforms all things, that power of love that transforms, that if we step into that place, as the title says, the soul's longing is for love, is to be in that place of perfect harmony, of no chaos, of well-being, of lightness, of energy flowing, of peace and harmony. When we step into that place, the whole outside world changes, and everything that we're trying to do or create, all of it changes. The Way of Mastery, this book, we're on chapter 32 now, and it's been talking a lot about it. And as I've been going through these chapters, I'm like, we've talked about love for like so many chapters in a row. How am I going to do this different? What am I going to do different? That's what we've talked about. But, the truth is it's that important. That love is that important. It is the secret that transforms. It is what transforms all of life, being able to get to that place of love. It brings us that peace. So when we're anxious, or we have trouble sleeping at night, or we're having challenges in our world, or we're fearful, maybe our money's funny, or maybe somebody's sick, or maybe our body is not well. If we can utilize that tool of gratitude to open our whole being in every cell, and then open us into that place of love, if we can use that, it can transform and it can embrace all things. I mentioned my friend. I have a friend that I was talking to that I do a lot of spiritual work with. And she had an example that I thought was really powerful. Her son was in a relationship that she didn't think was really healthy. And he wasn't here in town, he was far away, and all she wanted to do was change it and rescue him and get him out of it. It just was a dysfunctional, unhealthy, borderline abusive situation. And she spent like a month in tears. Just, what do I do about this? How do I handle this? How do I shift this? How do I change this? And realizing that nothing is happening to me, that everything is happening for me, that I have created the perfect experience to take me to where I want to be. She just sat in this and worked through it. And then she started taking the woman that he was in a relationship with and started loving her. And just started filling her with love, and remembering that my friend had created this experience because it was what she needed for her transformation. That nobody's doing anything to her. That her son has the intelligence and the wisdom of God, and it's all unfolding perfectly for him. And there's a greater something unfolding and a greater knowingness, and all of this is going on. But sometimes it's really hard to see when you're in the middle of it. And she went through a very difficult time as she was hearing, phone calls and the stuff that was going on. And she finally got to that point where she realized at a really deep level that it's never ever about resisting. It's not about resisting the world and what's going on. It wasn't about her pushing against or not liking or trying to fix or change the relationship in this whole problem. It wasn't about that at all. And that is the first step that we go in everything, is to fix and change, make it different, exert our power. But the truth really is it's about not resisting at all. It's about stepping back and loving. Whatever you're going through, whatever challenge it is, whether it's physical, whether it's money, whatever it is, the answer always is to step into that place of love and not resist what's happening. It's when we fight against it that we have the biggest problems. Byron Katie says is that we suffer when we argue with what is. We talked last week a little bit about that from the standpoint that as we stand back and we look at what's in front of us, the way of mastery says that we don't even begin our spiritual path until we really deeply understand that everything that is in our experience we have created. And we have created for our good. We have brought it. Because everything that is happening is simply a piece, just a piece, a small piece of a greater and even bigger manifestation that is yet to come. We are always spiraling upward. We are always getting better. And those things that we've called into our life, those experiences and those things that are there are a piece, or as the way of mastery says, a stepping stone that's taking us to a greater expression of peace and love and joy and God in all of its fullness. So when we can catch ourselves when life's difficult and those things, and if we can catch ourselves and say, all right, I have created this for whatever reason, it's a match to me. I have created this. I'm not going to fight it. I'm not going to resist it. I'm not going to beat myself up for it. I'm not nothing. It is before me so that I can see it and make some new choices and to step into that place of love. Let me step into the place of loving myself and of love. And it is the shift of energy of love that transforms all things, transforms the situation. Nothing changed in her son in that relationship at all. But she did a tremendous amount of work. She changed. And then she had a deep peace and a deep knowing. And sure enough, eventually, much longer than she would have guessed or whatever, but she had no attachment to it of whatever he was doing. The situation healed itself. Because nothing's going to stay that's unhealthy. Nothing's going to stay that's not working. It's always going to, the steps are going to come forth for the individual. It's always going to heal itself. Everything is always unfolding perfectly. So as the way of mastery is talking about love and moving the place of love, what it's really talking about is resisting not, letting be what is. I want to share with you a quote. It says, love sees all things free. Love sets the world free to be as it is. Love sees perfect harmlessness. Because things are as they are, the mind in perfect freedom lets them be as they are and sees them as utterly harmless. Love extends perfect freedom to all creation to be and do what it wants to be and do. Now, let me set you free to have your experiences. It is only in the full embrace of an illusion that the illusion dissolves before your eyes. We shift our energy of it. The problem was the way we were looking at it to start with. The problem was looking at it and adding what we call race consciousness, or what the world would say of, oh, that's horrible, and seeing from those perspectives our judgments. Judgment is fear. That's the only thing that it is. Judgment is fear. So if we let fear go as we step into that place of love, as we trust the intelligence of the universe, as we trust the perfect unfoldment of it, as we feel what we're feeling, as we check in and we feel it and we let ourselves feel whatever it is we're feeling, as we love ourselves as we go through it, but we do this with awareness, and then we catch ourselves when we're not in love, and we step into that place of gratitude and love and all those good things. As we're conscious and aware, our world and the world inside and out changes. But most importantly, we change. We change. Byron Katie says it really well. She says, I don't let go of my thoughts. I meet them with understanding, and then they let go of me. So we resist not. But what that requires of us is to be in that place of integrity. That's a powerful word. The place of integrity. Are we being 100% honest with ourselves? Do we live an honest life? In all ways. Is truth so important to us? Being in alignment, being in integrity, so important to us that we will not compromise anything to go out of alignment of it. Because integrity is love. You know, you can say about anything to anybody if you do it from a place of love, no matter what. We have a culture that gets caught up in white lies. We have people that say, well, I really don't want to hurt them, so I'm going to tell them something that really isn't quite true. We even we run it through ourselves that way, where sometimes we're just not completely honest with ourselves if we're living within our means. We're spending more than we're really making. Or maybe we're not completely honest with ourselves in how we're treating our physical body and the foods that we eat and what we're doing with ourselves. Or the emotions that we're feeling, we're stuffing them. Integrity. Doing your very best at any time to say and to be exactly the truth and exactly the way you are is the place that we start. Because what that says is, I love myself enough. I know I'm not perfect. I'm going to tell you how I feel. I'm going to say and do whatever I need to say and do with love. I'm going to have enough faith in you to know that whatever is unfolding, whatever happening, it's not my job to protect you and to make it different, that you have the strength and everything that you need, that it's only with truth and honesty that you can make the right decisions and do the right things. And the same with ourselves. And so choosing integrity and being in truth and being accepting of ourselves and resisting not is one of the most powerful steps that we can take. The soul is to know, the longing of the soul is to know love, but the longing of the soul is to know peace. All is well, all is God, all is unfolding perfectly. Love transforms all things. Love allows all things. Love embraces all things. That love is that place. That's the place that I can be. It's my respite. It's my shelter. It's that which embraces me. It is all that I need, is to be in that place of love. So I invite you to catch yourself, be conscious and aware. I invite you, if you can't jump to love, to go to gratitude. Start looking, just start searching for things you're really grateful for. And go to gratitude and allow gratitude and the energy of gratitude to shift your whole vibration, your whole body, your whole continents. Watch yourself as your energy starts raising, as things start raising, as your own eyes start twinkling, and as you start seeing love and you start seeing things all around. And watch your day and your world as you decide to step into love and make that shift. It's where the power is. That is the spiritual path. So let us turn within together as we take a big breath and release it. You know, we close our eyes to this outside world because that which we see is the manifestation of something that was set in motion before. And being one with the Creator, I know that we are always creating. So I step into that energy and into that place as I accept what I've already created and make choices to create the place from places of love and peace and joy and wholeness, and have faith and trust in its perfect unfoldment of it. For we each is that place that God makes manifest its glory. I accept that fully, knowing that each and every step that we take is the perfect step that leads us into greater expression of the divine. And so I open my heart and my entire being as I watch the glory and the magnificence of God as my life, as your life, as this spiritual home we call Seaside in this world in which we live. And so it is. Amen. And anyone else that you're thinking of, we'll just bring them into this big circle of love that we have here. So we move within into that place of God and only God. We move into that energy and that space of gratitude and love. We move into that energy and space of wisdom and all-knowing, of perfect right action, of wholeness and abundance. We move into that space of deep faith and deep knowing. That right in the middle of anything that we might be experiencing, there's a power and a presence that is more powerful. It's a power and a presence of wholeness. It's a power and a presence of love. It's a power and a presence of peace. For every event and every step leads us to that place of a deeper knowing and a deeper faith and a deeper peace. I know for Marjorie, as she made her transition this week, that her soul is free, flying upon the eternities, free from a physical body, but deeply still in all of our hearts and in the love that we are. I know for each name that is spoken here tonight that the power and presence, the embrace of God holds, guides, and leads, heals, and loves each and every individual. For we cannot be separate. We cannot be apart from. And so with a deep faith and a deep conviction and a deep knowing, I know the power and presence of God and love right here and now. I know for Seaside, on this journey of establishing a mortgage and a well-being for our spiritual home, that it all unfolds perfectly. That it is from love that we all give and that we all come from. And it is love that we exude, and that all of those that are involved in the orchestration and the creation feel just that: love, peace, joy, creation. For it is good, it is God. So with a heart that's filled with gratitude that I release this prayer, knowing it is done. And so it is. Amen. May you always feel the embrace of God. May your heart radiate with love and light. May you know that your every step is guarded and guided. And may you feel, sense, and know God's amazing grace. For it is in, through, and around us always and in all ways. God bless you all. Go forth in peace. Good night.